Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Music Mondays podcast. I'm your host, Zom Slays. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Apologies on the delay, man. So I was just eating some food, and then I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna eat some food on the show, just because that's rude and it makes for a shitty, a shitty podcast. So I scarfed down some dinner and I put on the starting soon screen. So here we are. But you guys know the drill, man. Today is episode 141, and I'm your host, Zom Slays. How we doing, man? Today is the first episode of October. Sweet. Very cool. Very, very, very fucking cool, to be honest with you. September is kind of a weird month. It really always has been, to be honest with you. But, definitely excited to get into October. That's a fact. So just going through submissions here, decent amount of submissions tonight, and let's see here. Yeah, we got some weekly recap stuff that we're gonna go over. We got some discussion segments, actually, something that'll be very, very good for the community, but you guys know the motherfucking drill. Let's get into it. So let's start off with some weekly recap stuff. This is a big week for Music Mondays. We put out a shitload of content, I'm being completely honest with you. So we kicked off last Tuesday with the Music Mondays Radar Check number 3. For those of you that don't know, the Music Mondays Radar Check is essentially exactly what it sounds like. It's an opportunity to tag your mutuals, tag people that you think Music Mondays should be covering on our website. The 3rd edition is live right now, so definitely go check that out and go show that some love on socials. And if you're not already following us on socials, definitely please do. Follow us at All Music Mondays. A brand new exclusive track is also live on our SoundCloud by the homie Aiden Jewel. They allowed us to host a unreleased exclusive track titled Wings. So huge shout out to Aiden, and huge shout out to everybody that ran that up over on our SoundCloud as well. We're approaching 300 followers on SoundCloud, actually, which is really, really cool. I think we're about like 8 away. So if you're not already following us over there on SoundCloud, go show us some love, because we're dropping music pretty consistently over there. So that takes us to about Thursday. So we dropped community feedback number 4 on our YouTube channel. Essentially, again, that's pretty much what it sounds like, community feedback, where we ask the community to give us suggestions on what you'd like to see us talk about here on the show, what you'd like to see us talk about on future shows, tips and tricks, more simple subjects, complex subjects, things of that nature. So that's available on our YouTube right now. And huge shout out to everybody that ran that up over there on YouTube. And we actually hit 110 subscribers on our YouTube channel, which is fucking fire. So huge shout out to you guys for pushing us on that 110 gap, or no, 210 gap, but that means the road to 120 is 220 is well underway. 220 is kind of weird. I feel like the 200s are gonna be weird. I don't know why, but yeah, definitely road to 220 subscribers, and community feedback number 4 is available right now on our channel. And most of you guys know that we upload 2 times a week, every Thursday and Saturday. So definitely go check out our channel and subscribe if you enjoy what we put out. So, Feature Friday actually made a return this week. Feature Friday episode 6 is live with the homie Neon Dion. Now that was actually hosted by the homie King Mark. King Mark had this kind of stashed away, I think from earlier in the year or last year. Mark sat down with Neon Dion and essentially did a short form video interview with them via Discord, and that just dropped on the Music Mondays channel, so definitely go check that out and go show Neon and King Mark some love. That was really cool because we got to give some spotlight to a content piece that normally probably wouldn't have dropped, so we pretty much just wanted to give that a home, and it really fit the Feature Friday segment relatively well. So yeah, definitely go check that out and go give that a watch, because that's a good one for sure. 2 brand new articles are also live on musicmondays.com by the homie M and Jaded. Now, Jaded did a brand new interview with the homie Velcro Dog, and M did a review that we published on Friday, I believe, actually. So 2 brand new pieces are up right now on the site. Definitely go check that out, and definitely go show M and J some love. 2 huge killer Music Monday staff writers. Just pillars at this point, man. Some of their work is just amazing. So definitely go check out their stuff and go show them some love. Absolutely. The big one though, the big one. In case you missed it, monthly is finally live. We were able to get that out on all socials. Pretty much. Now I think we're only like 2 months away from being fully caught up. So we still have the July and the August editions to really fully crank out. But the June edition is live right now, and that was written by Raylo and Raven. Huge shout out to them for actually getting that in, and huge shout out to Aster for getting on graphics as well. You guys know the deal. Aster is an absolute tank with graphics and everything that they do for the Music Mondays platform. So in case you missed it, monthly is live right now on all socials, and it's live on the Music Mondays homepage. So definitely go check that out. That is a big piece, and a lot of work goes into that one. So go show that one some love for sure. Episode 140 of the Music Mondays podcast is available on all platforms, including our YouTube channel. It is in pretty much everywhere that you can listen to it, to be honest with you. Whether you take us on the go, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whether you're running it up over there on the YouTube channel. Huge shout out to all you guys that are just showing the show some love if you're not already watching it live every week per usual. So you guys know the drill with the Music Mondays podcast, but if you don't, submissions open every Tuesday. So again, if you're watching this on YouTube, submissions are already open. If you're watching this live, submissions open tomorrow, October 3rd. So keep your eyes peeled if you want to get involved in episode 141. But yeah, episode 140 is available everywhere. And again, huge shout out to the YouTube crew and everybody else that's taking the Music Mondays podcast on the go. You guys are awesome, man. Spotify numbers slowly going up, YouTube numbers slowly going up, especially now that we hit over 200 subs. Everything's really coming together as far as our media goes. So you guys are awesome, man. And of course, as you can tell, we're slowly rolling out a couple of aesthetic and graphic updates for a few of our segments. So until we make an official announcement, you'll see some new aesthetics go up for certain segments that Music Mondays does every week and every month as well. So but again, episode 140 is live everywhere. Go show that some love, and huge shout out to everybody that submitted as well. SoundCloud Sunday volume 102 is available right now on our SoundCloud. That dropped yesterday, Sunday, October 1st. That was also our first SoundCloud Sunday of October, which is really cool. 102 volumes, man. 102 volumes. This one was actually curated just by me and Avanko. Cover art by 63. And again, this is just one of our pride and joys at Music Mondays. So definitely very important, and just something that we put a lot of effort into, for sure. So again, huge shout out to everybody that submits to SoundCloud Sunday, and huge shout out to everybody that runs up SoundCloud Sunday as well. And of course, submissions open for those every Wednesday. So if you're interested in getting involved with SoundCloud Sunday, submissions open literally every Wednesday. So again, make sure you follow us on socials to stay up to date. One other thing about SoundCloud Sunday is make sure you're showing your friends. That's very, very important. You know, it's not only a great playlist for people that make music or media platforms or things like that, but it's also a great playlist for people that are looking for new music, right? If you ever get hosted or you ever get slotted in a SoundCloud Sunday, definitely show your friends. Definitely put people on to SoundCloud Sunday, right? Because it's, you know, not only a massive library of playlists, but a great way to support independent creators. So definitely spread the word about SoundCloud Sunday, that's for sure. But that takes us to today, Monday, October 2nd. We are chilling. So weekly recap stuff is good. we're gonna have a little bit of a discussion. We're gonna talk about what's coming up on Music Mondays for this week, and we're gonna have a little talk about something that I wanted to essentially talk about last week, but I wanted to kind of get some ducks in a row first. So let's talk what's upcoming for Music Mondays. Well, most of you guys know the drill, but if you don't, Music Mondays is recruiting. We are on the hunt for journalists, designers, curators, writers, short form media people, content creators, anybody that wants to be involved in the underground in any capacity. We're interested. We actually put out a video recently breaking down all of those roles and really how all those correlate to Music Mondays, and really breaking them all down in detail on essentially what they all do, what they're all required, and things like that. So if you're interested in any more specifics on any of those roles mentioned, definitely go check out our YouTube channel, because that's a really good one, and I broke down pretty much everything in detail. But again, Music Mondays is recruiting. Many of you guys know that we are on the hunt for creatives. Now, the majority of the staff are creators themselves, right? A lot of them are artists and vocalists and producers and things like that, but that's definitely not required. You're not, fully required to actually be a creative, but that's kind of that's really what gives Music Mondays the edge, realistically, is that our team is really composed up of creators that truly understand the underground, past and present, right? So we are recruiting, and again, if that interests you, feel free to send us a message, send us an email, send us your resume, and of course, resumes are preferred, but definitely not required. So yeah, get in contact with us, and we'll be happy to have a conversation with you for sure. So, SoundCloud exclusives is one other thing that I want to talk about here. Now, Music Mondays is on the hunt for unreleased SoundCloud tracks. Now, of course, we're looking to host the SoundCloud version, right? We're not super interested in all platforms. You can take that track and really do whatever you want to do with it, upload it on stores, do a music video, things like that. We're only interested in hosting the SoundCloud version. Obviously, to not only promote artists, but to build up our library and archive, and really continue to show our SoundCloud supporters some love. So if that's something that interests you and you want to get an unreleased track hosted on the Music Monday SoundCloud, feel free to DM us, send us an email. We'll be happy to have that conversation with you, my friends. Absolutely happy. So, and that goes for YouTube as well. Before we continue, unreleased YouTube tracks, YouTube music videos, lyric videos, visuals. If you're interested in getting any of those dropped on the Music Mondays channel, definitely send us an email, or feel free to contact us in any way. And again, we'll be happy to have that conversation with you. So, that pretty much settles that. You guys know I always got to talk about those two things, because those are relatively important. But, let's talk about what's coming up on Music Mondays for the next week or so. So, in case you missed it, monthly July is being worked on as far as graphics go. You'll see that pop up again this month, which will be very good. Expect a brand new article. Actually, expect probably 2 articles this week from our writing team, because we have a couple pieces that we're working on in the background. Actually, quite possibly 3. Quite possibly 3. I know for sure at least 2. That's a fact. But yeah, new pieces going up on Friday and over the weekend as well. And like I said, in case you missed it, monthly July. Our YouTube segments are continuing to go crazy. Expect a new edition of Feature Friday and Workshop Wednesday. The breakdown is also something that we've been talking about in the background, as well as Cyberfest 2 details. So those are some real bigger things. But the monthly. Now, the monthly was a playlist that was curated by Depress before they departed and took a leave from Music Mondays. So essentially, we had to come up with a new host for the monthly on our SoundCloud, and that's essentially a solo staff curated playlist. Obviously not publicly curated, but this is a playlist that is basically staff picks, and really things that they kind of enjoyed throughout the month. So expect a new host for the monthly in volume 5 to drop on our SoundCloud relatively soon. If not this week, the next week, but October is going to be stacked with a lot of the same stuff that you guys are used to, and a lot of the new volumes of pretty much everything, playlists, uploads, videos, things like that. And we're slowly working in a couple of new things here at Music Mondays, and really trying to tie up some loose ends before we head into 2024. One of the bigger things as well is merch. Whether we actually kind of get a store up and running before the end of the year, or we kick off 2024 with a brand new store. So there's a lot of kind of major parts going on for Music Mondays, but of course, our main priorities are feeding the community, the regular drops, the weekly drops, and the monthly drops. So of course, make sure you follow us on all socials to stay updated, and make sure you follow us on your preferred social media, man. We're literally everywhere: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook, Tumblr, you name it, we're there, literally. So go check us out, and go show us some love on your favorite social. So, a couple events coming up, couple really important things, and a lot of the regular content is returning. So, that's for the next week or so at Music Mondays. But it's been a while since we've done a discussion segment here on the show. It'll be good. So essentially, man, let's talk. So last week I was approached by a Music Mondays artist and supporter, and they had asked me to they had asked us to really talk about common scams in the underground. Now, we had went into a little bit of detail about this when we had talked about fake playlists and botted playlists and things like that on Spotify, right? But there's definitely some very like interesting kinds of scams when it comes to articles and record deals and getting signed, right? There's a whole lot of like, it gets cloudy, and there's a whole lot of bullshit that could go down. So we're here to talk about it. So the main thing here, and one thing that's like very important when it comes to scams, right? And random DMs and stuff in your message requests and things like that. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. You know, and that's just not really like a saying, that's just life, right? Because it's very rare, very, very, very rare that something insane and crazy, like just lucky, is just gonna fall on your lap in your message requests on Instagram. It's very fucking rare. And as much as we'd all like to believe that, it's just not the case, right? And it's not just people in music. It's people in designing, people in art, people in fashion. They go through the same sort of things, right? But I think it can go a little bit deeper than that, right? Because people can send pretty convincing messages to people that, you know, at first glance would probably fall for. And they'd be like, yo, is this real or not? And then like you show it to another set of eyes, and they're like, bro, look at this, look at that, look at this, look at that. So they're essentially like, the more doctored up a message is, sometimes the easier it is to just kind of glance at it and be like, oh shit, what the fuck? You know what I mean? So there is definitely a way to not only avoid this kind of thing, but really break it down as to where you could look at a message in 2 seconds and know it's fake, right? One main thing, and one thing that I always look for when it comes to like wondering if something is like legit is I'll look at their profile. And that's obvious, right? That's a given. But it doesn't really matter if they have any like handles in their bio. It doesn't really matter if they have any kind of um resume that kind of looks good but isn't really good. I think one big thing that you can look at when you look at somebody's profile that sends you a sketchy kind of DM um pertaining to like a scam or some kind of deal, look at their profile and see if they have real pictures up. And by real pictures, I mean, I'm not talking about like selfies. I'm talking about pictures with other people, pictures with tags, right? There'll be people that kind of they'll go to parties or dinners, and then they'll kind of take a picture with somebody and they'll tag them in that photo. And that'll be a really good way to tell if you're dealing with somebody with stolen photos or you're dealing with a real fucking person. Because it's very easy just to just kind of steal people's photos and create a profile. But the other thing to kind of look out for when it comes to looking at somebody's profile is if they have a story. And not just a story with links or a story with images or graphics. A story at their crib. A story of their breakfast. A story of their kids. You know what I mean? You want something substantial so you can be like, okay, like this is like a person. You know what I mean? And you're not just dealing with somebody who's just trying to be anonymous, right? So that'll be the big thing, is if they have photos and they have real pictures and they have like real mutuals. And that kind of leads me into my next point. Mutuals. Most of the time, a lot of the people that want to do business with you or want to work with you or anything like that, there are going to be mutuals. They're going to find out from you, from somebody. Whether you both follow Joe Schmo, or you guys both follow this person, or he found you in somebody's comments. They're gonna be somebody that's around, right? Kind of like this person, a friend of a friend of a friend type shit. But usually when it is these kind of scam accounts, they're going to have no mutuals. They're going to have a random 20k followers. They're probably going to be private. And they're going to have some handle in their bio that they don't work for. Right? Like, for instance, if you go on my Twitter profile, there's something like probably like in 2021 or 2022 where I broke down somebody who was trying to sell me an article. And I was like, brother, do you even do you even know who the fuck I am? And like, that wasn't even on some like cocky shit. It was more so like, it would take one look at like my bio and my links to see that I have a writing resume. Why the fuck would I want to buy an article from you or even get an article? You know what I mean? It was very much in that aspect. It was like a copy and paste kind of message. And I was just like, this motherfucker is just out here just copy and pasting messages and seeing what bites. And people can kind of fake weird credits like that. And that's one other avenue as to where that's a very like common thing. That's a very, very common thing as to where they're like, yeah, dude, I can get you featured on here, and you pay them this amount of money and they block you and that's it. Or some of them might not even block you, and some of them might just string you along forever, and they'll be like, yeah, dude, it's coming. Yeah, it's coming. Yeah, for sure, it's coming. And the problem is there's no way to really like expose these people or like try to like get anything back, try to like do business the right way, because there's 9 times out of 10 there's no mutuals. It's these very like rogue accounts that come from like out of nowhere. You know what I mean? People that have just been scamming their whole life, whether it be in music, art, wherever else, you know what I mean? Music's just one form of this, as to where you have to deal with like a lot of like weird fake scammy shit. So, to recap, basically check out the profile. You're gonna want to look at stories and photos, and to really see if they're an actual human fucking being, right? look for stories of like their personal life. Look for stories of their partner, anything. And then do your research, right? Find out how they found you. Find out your mutuals. Find out if this is just a rogue account. And then more deeper than that, do a Google search. Do a Google search of the account. Go on Reddit and search it on Reddit. 9 times out of 10, if it's a fucking scammer, somebody else has ran into them and they know about it. If you're really that sketched out, there's a million ways to kind of like go on Google and really break that down to see if they have a bad rap. You know what I mean? That's like one of the easier ways to do it is 100% take, say some writer has a name and, you want to go see if their writing is legit or this, and this. That's a way to do it. That's 100% the way to do it. So with all of that kind of being said, one other thing I kind of wanted to mention in this whole topic was nobody's ever gonna like do business with you over DMs. Like they're gonna do business with you over email or a call. Like it's very rare that you might go back to DMs once business is done, but you're never gonna go and sign a contract through a DM. You're never gonna go and like do official business talks through an Instagram call. You're never gonna do that through a Twitter DM. At least not at first. Many legit companies will send you an email with a legit email address, and they're gonna want to hop on a Zoom call. They're gonna want to hop on a Discord call. Some of them might even just want to hop on a FaceTime. Like that's how you're gonna know. You know what I mean? And that's not to say that real scammers haven't gone that far, but most don't go that far because that requires them to show their face. That requires them to fucking, be a human being, and actually put something on the line. So a lot of it doesn't go that far. But when it comes to like these deals and these like business opportunities and like, yo, let me do this, let me do that. Those are some ways to verify it, but at the end of the day, if somebody's not contacting by email or wanting you to get on a Zoom call or a FaceTime call, it's probably bullshit to some degree. You know what I mean? Like, and even if it's not, it's pretty amateurish. You know what I mean? Because like even the majority of the Music Monday staff, like I always hop on a call with them first. You know what I mean? Like hopping on a call, hopping on a FaceTime, contacting through email. I think all those things are very, very important and a really good way to tell if somebody's like really about their business. Like really, really about their shit, you know what I mean? So that's the other part of it. As to where that's a very like good way to tell. For sure. And the last thing to cap that off is to just never download anything. You know what I mean? I wouldn't download anything on mobile, but I would never download anything just from an email that like you've never seen before, or it's not like the proper link. Like don't just be thirsty and go download what you think is a PDF, but it's like a zip file and you have to unzip it and all of a sudden you have a virus on your PC from a scammer. Like that's the other part of it too, is like they're gonna want to send you shit like that if they're like scammers and shit. But if you can get way past all that and you can just get on a call, you can talk through email, you can talk on the phone, that's like more of the green flags that you should be looking for, as opposed to weird sketchy shit like that. Now it does vary from situation. Like some people are just good at marketing and they just want to send you free shit. Like I've had that happen before with energy drink companies, with other companies that just want to send you free shit and they're like, yeah, here's a code, shipping's free. Like that kind of shit isn't a scam because they're just marketing. But most people aren't, you know what I mean? But some people are, you know what I mean? So really put your thinking cap on, pay attention, and if you really don't know, go to your mutuals, and then on top of it, go to the internet. You know what I mean? Google's free. Use it. You know what I mean? Don't trust other people's words. Don't trust fucking anybody's word that doesn't know what they're talking about, right? Trust your gut and do your research. Absolutely. So yeah, that's some like really basic kind of bulletin points on scams in the underground and just scams on social media in general. and really how to project yourself and how to like really tell what kind of people are legit and what kind of people are not, right? Because everybody knows, like even Music Mondays, like take a look at us. You know, I'm live here every Monday. I'm live on stream fucking 6 days a week. You could Google Zom Slays. The whole first Google page is me. You know what I mean? So like, again, green flag. If say I approach somebody and I wanted to do business with them, green flag because like everything's there in black and white. But for a lot of these kind of weird, sketchy people that don't have mutuals or this or this or that, you might have to put in some elbow grease and do a little research. You know what I mean? So that's that, my friends. That'll definitely get uploaded on the channel. So if you like what you see, make sure you subscribe and drop a like. And huge shout out to everybody that's over there on the YouTube side of things, my friends. I love you guys. Wow, that's a good one, man. That is a good one. You know, that's really something I could talk about for like quite a while, right? But it's one of those things where there's some really like important talking points where I think you really just gotta hit, you know? You really just gotta be like, okay, what are the main kind of big deals here? And that's definitely one of them. That's definitely one of them for sure. Just like if they don't got no IRL photos, man, they're probably a fucking scammer or something, bro. but sometimes people aren't. You know what I mean? But more often than not, they probably are a bit sketchy. That's for sure. That's for sure. But you guys know the drill. Let's get into it. But if you don't, you're new here. We're gonna talk about it. So, how do you submit to the Music Mondays podcast? Why do you take submissions on Twitter? What do they look like? What do I do? How do I submit to the show? Well, very simple. And for those of you that are on audio platforms, we're about to read it out for you now. But the tweet is on screen. Artists and creative submissions are open for live reviews on Music Mondays, live on October 2nd, 2023, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Twitch.tv/ZomPlays. If you'd like to submit your music, artwork, fashion, or digital creation, drop your links and portfolios below. All art forms are welcome. So, what does that mean? What does that have to do with anything? Let's talk about it. So, submission tweets will look the same. Quite literally every Tuesday, submissions open. So again, like I said earlier in the show, if you're watching on YouTube, submissions are already open. If you're watching live, submissions open tomorrow, October 3rd. If you'd like to submit your music, artwork, fashion, or digital creations, drop your links and portfolios below. Again, contrary to our name, many of you guys know we've reacted to pretty much everything here at Music Mondays. We've reacted to obviously vocals, instrumentals, literature, writing, graphics, photos, fashion, merch, music videos, visuals, lyric videos, like you name it, we've reacted to it here on the show. So feel free to submit whatever you like, and if you feel like you deserve a little spotlight on Music Mondays, drop your links and portfolios, man, because we want them. Now, of course, for our show limits, obviously that was put in place earlier in the year to really slim down the show's length because we were starting to get into like 6-7 hour shows, and of course that's just not practical for a weekly live show. It's just not. And of course it makes it a lot better to watch back as well, because even 6 hours is still like, or no, 4 hours is still pretty long, but that's like better than 6 hours, you know what I mean? So that's the reason for that. Now, of course, many of you know, submissions are free. They always have been. They always will be. So the only thing that we ask is that you're following Music Mondays on Twitter to be eligible to not only help grow our community, but to spread our message and give respect to everybody else that also waits for their submissions and portfolios to be checked out every week. So that's the only thing that we do ask, because of course, again, submissions are always free. And of course, with the 4 hour show limits, some submissions might not get played, but if you're interested in getting your submission a guaranteed play each week, feel free to subscribe to our Patreon, man. We have about 5 Patreons over there currently. And of course, we have 3 different tiers, and subscribing at any tier gains access to the Music Mondays Fast Pass. So essentially, for the duration that you're subscribed to our Patreon, you'll be able to have your submissions played first each week here on the show. Plus, a whole bunch of other goodies over there on the Patreon. So definitely go check out our Patreon, and a huge shout out to everybody that's already pledged. You guys are awesome. But outside of that, the only other thing that you do need to know is that submissions close about a couple hours to an hour before the show starts. That's, of course, per usual to get a head count, and we are a live show. So we're not going to get somebody that comes in like, oh, I'm trying to submit, and then they get in front of the guy who's been waiting for like fucking 3 hours and submitted like last week. You know what I mean? So you have roughly about, 7 days, 6.5 days to get your tracks in before the next show. And then, of course, submissions close before the show starts. And, of course, we take submissions on Twitter because this is the pretty much still the top platform, surprisingly, for underground and independent art. Throughout the ups and downs of social media in 2023, Twitter also is still providing the best tools to be able to get music and submissions in one place in a pretty healthy way. Because emails are just not the play. Instagram DMs break after a while. Nobody's gonna fucking go on Reddit. Nobody's definitely using Facebook. And there's no growth on Discord. So what are we left with? Twitter. So that's pretty much the reasoning for that. But other than that, man, I'll close my app and let's get into it. So, decent amount of submissions tonight, and we have, I think, one TDG. And I think TDG is the only Patreon tonight, ladies and gentlemen. TDG is the only Patreon of the night. That's some rare shit. That is some rare shit. But I mean, realistically, nobody's required to submit, right? But of course, the Music Mondays Fast Pass is there if that's something that you want to take advantage of, right? So let's get into it, man. Up first, we got the homie TDG, an alternative hip hop vocalist producer. This is an artist that's been doing really well in 2023 performances, putting out consistent music. But they submitted a track titled Gold Hearts, prod by me. And we got some lyrics down below as well. Wait, so is it an instrumental or is it with some vocals? Let's see. I mean, I'm down for either, but I'm kind of curious now. SoundCloud was struggling there. Yeah, okay. Okay. Let's get into it. That was crazy. What the fuck? Like fisheye from above style. It's actually nuts. All right, let's get into it. TDG, Gold Arts. Bass is so good on this, bro. Okay. Um, dude, like the drums here are crazy, crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Like, drums are just kind of blew it out of the park for me. I like the structure a lot though, but you guys know the drill, man. Let's break this one down, and we're gonna talk about two things because obviously no vocals. So we're gonna talk about the instrumental, and we're gonna talk about the overall theme of Gold Hearts. So, um, let's talk instrumental. So the mix is great. Um, especially when you consider like how hard everything knocks, but everything kind of has its own space as well, which I think is a huge plus. Everything's kind of like separated, nice and wide. They're chilling. It's a very comfortable mix. Everything's nice and level, nothing clashing to overbearing at all. And again, when you consider how hard everything does knock, it's a very solid mix in my opinion. Very, very solid for sure. Okay, so the mix is definitely right where it needs to be. Knocks hard. Nothing clashing too bad at all. Um, Instrumental Shining Star. So, two things I really, really like about this. The drums are fucking crazy, and the structure is perfect. Like, especially for an instrumental release, the structure is like super, super fucking solid. Because it's not too repetitive, but it's also constantly dropping. So it's swinging back in for a drop, and it's doing full cycles, and it's just solid to listen to. Like for just an instrumental. Um, so again, the drums, but the structure is like a close second because the structure is kind of like right up there for me in terms of um like replayability, and especially for somebody who's never listened to a TDG track. But at the same time, the drums are just, especially like the bass and the percussions, and yeah, no, I think the drums are an easy shining star for me, but I feel like the structure's like right up there, a close second for sure. But drums absolutely, definitely, all the way down to the sound selection too. Let's talk theme. So, um, let's talk aesthetics here. This cover is crazy. TDG has like a really good knack and a really good style, like that kind of reminds me of like high school kind of doodles, but like it's like kind of like nostalgic a little bit. Like it's very much like it's I don't know, it's got this kind of flavor to it that's like modern but like nostalgic at the same time. And this cover really does it for sure because it's got this kind of like fisheye effect, but it's also like still like very like decipherable. I don't know, something about this cover I really like though. I really, really like that one. Um, so aesthetics on point definitely. Now, Gold Hearts is obviously a play on TDG's lyrics that are listed down below. So obviously, theme is very much on point, and TDG was able to kind of like still kind of like have a constructive theme here, even though there is no lyrics on this. Like, and that's one thing I really like about TDG as well is TDG is able to like consistently put out instrumentals like this along with their vocals. So it's not like they're like a kind of like a one stop shop. TDG continues to establish themselves as a producer, which is something I really like. You know what I mean? So let's get it, baby. Huge shout out to TDG for the submission. But with that said, make sure you follow TDG on SoundCloud. They're 2 follows away from 980. And of course, make sure you follow TDG on Twitter. They're 1 follow away from 180. Go show them some love on a bird at my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 220 subscribers on the main channel of Music Mondays, man. Um, we're literally about 10 away, man. We're at 210 even. So if you're not subbed to the channel and you're interested in what we have going on there, man, we upload 2 times a week, every Thursday, every Saturday. So go show these artists and the channel some love. And huge shout out to everybody that's already subscribed. You guys are amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But that does it for our patrons of the night. Huge shout out to TDG and the rest of the Music Mondays patrons. But up next, we got the homie, Jordan Andrew. Now, Jordan Andrew, again, has been on a tear in 2023 between their first show, consistent projects, EPs, singles, really putting in the work, to be honest with you. But an alternative producer, vocalist, and so many other things. Jordan submitted a hidden track. I don't actually know what this is because the embed is not there. Okay. We have a track titled Help Yourself. And it's co-prod Anthony Floyd as well. And of course, art by Michael, per usual. Part of the EP Out of Mind 10-4. So that'll be dropping in 2 days, actually. So we get a little sneak peek of Jordan Andrews' new project actually dropping in 2 days from right now if you're watching live. So that'll be dropping this Wednesday. Guys, peeled. But let's get into it. Jordan Andrew, help yourself. Let's go. Starts crazy.
More than anybody else, I be here with myself. I see visions of my wealth. I don't talk, I'm on stealth. More than anybody else, I got heat up on the shelf. I delete it, but oh well, nothing lasts, I know that. More than anybody else, someone said they got a plan for me. I got my own. Won't let anybody help. Won't let anybody help. On something I could do without. It looks bad, but it's fine, nobody's looking now. All I have is reasons I should put it down. And I feel bad cause I know how it looks right now. I'm still up like there's no need for me to sleep. Drink enough, now my head hurts, I feel kinda weak. I miss love and forevers, but it's not that deep. Enough's enough, I'll get better, make you notice me, notice me.
This is such a Jordan Andrew instrumental. That was such a good fucking fade out too. Okay, much to discuss here because this is kind of like it's kind of a rare track in the aspect that it reminds me of old Jordan Andrew, but again, it's bringing that kind of like refreshing new age kind of sound. So it's like there's something very important here. Um, but like yeah, like even with the experimental tag, right? So there is an experimental tag here, but I don't think it's like too like abstract or experimental. I definitely think it's very much um like just alternative. It's very much way more alternative than it is like abstract or kind of like unique. It's definitely unique, but not in like a negative way at all. It has a lot of like feeling to it. There's a lot of emotion in this instrumental, 100%. Um, so let's break this one down, man. We're gonna talk about three things. Talk about the instrumental, talk about vocals, talk about the overall theme of Help Yourself. So let's talk instrumental. When it comes down to the instrumental, we have a a Deadlighters instrumental here, with Jordan Andrew and Anthony Floyd. So mix is solid, especially for what this is. You know, filled with emotion, has a lot of like it just it's right up there in terms of like peak Jordan Andrew instrumental that just has a lot of flavor and a lot of personality. This is definitely up there. So when you want to talk about a mix, you always got to make sure that it's decent, right? Like you don't want the mix kind of fucking like it sometimes can be very hard to get a mix to sound how you want it to sound. And this is definitely one of those instrumentals that could give you a hard time. But I think Jordan did a good job kind of um leveling everything out and kind of giving everything its own space for sure. Because like I said, as big and theatrical and as emotion filled as this sounds, the mix definitely doesn't take away from it at all. So the mix is solid. Instrumental Shining Star. I really like the sound selection throughout the whole track. If I'm being honest with you, like the sound selection throughout this whole track is really on point. To be honest with you, like it's right up there. Um, but the drums are kind of doing this a lot of justice as well. But like the melodies are really like the star. I feel like the melodies bring a lot of flavor. The melodies bring a lot of the personality and a lot of the emotion. It's tough. It's tough. I think I might say melodies though. Melodies just because they're like very memorable, and I feel like this would bring me back to this track if I was a first time listener for sure. So definitely melodies. Let's talk vocals here. So this is a very interesting kind of um set of vocals here from Jordan, and it's not interesting in like a new or like mysterious way. It's very like it's very much right up Jordan's alley. But let's talk mix first. So the mix is solid, nice and level, sits on the instrumental in a decent way, and it has that like kind of like reverb radio kind of slightly like lo-fi kind of feel, but it's not really. Like it's almost there. It's almost pushing it, but it's not. I feel like Jordan like toned that back a little bit for this track, which I don't think is a bad thing. But it's just light on it. It's light. Um and like I said, they sit nice on the instrumental. Everything cuts through. Yeah, there wasn't too many gripes here for these vocals at all, to be honest with you. It brings that like Jordan Andrew genuine feel, and I think that's what matters most here. And again, everything's nice and level, so um, the mix is definitely solid. Vocal Shining Star. Mm, so writing's definitely up there. I think Jordan has no problem writing the hell out of a meaningful song. I think that comes very easy for Jordan. Um, but the structure, like it is, I feel like the structure is very like slept on part of this because you could listen to this and you could overlook structure without even realizing it, to be honest with you. Like, you really could, but for how spread out um all the vocals are, I kind of want to say structure, just because it lets the instrumental kind of breathe. You're kind of letting the instrumental have its own space. It's almost like a feature on this kind of track. So, like, I kind of like the vocal structure on this because it's not just like verse, verse, the instrumental kind of, plays out for 30 seconds, which I think those are sick too. But the way that Jordan kind of spaces one out is kind of what sold this screen in terms of like a first listen. Um, so instrumental solid, definitely the melody. Vocal solid, definitely structure. Writing's a close second. Let's talk theme. So aesthetics. I mean, we spoke a little bit about this cover last week, but this is one of the more like symbolic kind of Michael and Jordan Andrew kind of covers here, and I really like this one a lot because it has so many interpretations that you could make from it, but it also just kind of like speaks volumes on its own. Like, I really don't think this could even need a name. It doesn't need a name. It just it speaks volumes. So absolutely project worthy and one of my favorite Jordan Andrew and Michael pieces for sure. Um so theme relatively obvious, right? Jordan kind of talks about how, you know, in so many words that you kind of got to be there for yourself in life sometimes, right? If we're all blessed enough to have people around us that actually give a fuck, that's even better. But that's what that is exactly. It's a blessing, and it's not something that like you know is there forever, or is something that's permanent. Like I think life is always changing. Therefore, you're always changing, and you need to be able to adapt with life with ease, so that way not everything is so stressful all the time. And if you're just kind of like used to like counting on yourself, then there's nobody to disappoint you. You know what I mean? So like helping yourself is like such a valuable lesson, and like you could kind of like go on and on about that kind of area of life, but I think Jordan does a good job kind of touching on certain subjects like that and really certain emotions, to be honest with you. But just this song alone will kind of spark that thought, you know? So well done. Huge shout out to Jordan Andrew. Thank you so much for the submission, my friend. Much, much love. Make sure you follow Jordan on SoundCloud. New EP this Wednesday. 10 followers away from 80. Go show him some love on the cloud, man. And of course, make sure you follow Jordan on Twitter. They are 8 followers away from 350, man. Let's go. 350. Go show him some love on the Bird app, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube free upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 220 subscribers on the main channel, man. We upload 2 times a week. Every Thursday, every Saturday, full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, whole lot of good stuff's available over there on the channel. So go show these artists in the channel some love, my friends, and subscribe if you like what you see. And if you're already subbed, thank you, we appreciate you. But let's continue, my friends. So we left off with the homie Jordan Andrew, and up next we got the homie Mac 2 Times. Now, I don't think we were able to react to Mac 2 Times last week because we had such a longer episode. We were going on a little over 4 hours, so we didn't get through all of our submissions last week. But now we're finally able to. Now we're finally able to see what's going on with Mac 2 Times here. So let's see. So a very talented hip hop vocalist, Mac 2 Times, submitted a track titled "Too Many Lows." Let's see what we got here from the homie Mac 2 Times. We got some lyrics in the description. Okay. I'm down. Picture looks insanely like real, but not at the same time. It looks like the cropping solely off a little bit too. But let's get into it. Mac 2 Times, Too Many Lows. Let's go.
I've been having so many lows, I'm looking for that high. I ain't talking about ups and downs, but being in the sky. Lately been so many problems, so I'm please tell me why. Tired of being alone, I'm giving up on even trying. I can't lie, being here longer, fucking with my mental. Closest people is lying, so why the fuck would I forgive you? I ain't got nobody here, I know my death ain't detrimental. Man, I swear I'm so done with all this shit that I done been through, yeah. Taking pills to the face, they ain't leaving me lost, so why would I throw them away? I'm just looking for love, it's just a sad another day. Everybody be fibbing and they ain't begging me to stay. Might be sad for you, but I can't lie, this shit don't fuck me up. Tell the bartender to keep on coming with another cup. Say I don't get sick off this shit, I promise you I'm never jumping. New heavyweight champ, deep down I'm feeling like it. To the lot, hop in the car, call me E-way full throttle. Like I said, don't get drunk, you know I got another bottle. I was thinking about shit, but not being right here tomorrow. Feel like my heart could stop like it ain't mine, but some my balls. I don't know what this is, but I don't give a fuck, not even feeling sorrow. Carry so much of me, shoulders filled with heavy cargo. Matter of fact, I'm feeling like a cargo ship. Except it ain't smooth sailing on this fucking ship. I've been having so many lows, I'm looking for that high. I ain't talking about ups and downs, but being in the sky. Lately so many problems, so I'm please tell me why. Tired of being alone, I'm giving up on even trying. I can't lie, being here longer, fucking with my mental. Closest people is lying, so why the fuck would I forgive you? I ain't got nobody here, I know my death ain't detrimental. Man, I swear I'm so done with all this shit that I done been through. I've been having so many lows, I'm looking for that high. I ain't talking about ups and downs, but being in the sky. Lately been so many problems, so please tell me why. Tired of being alone, I'm giving up on even trying. I can't lie, being here longer, fucking with my mental. Closest people is lying, so why the fuck would I forgive you? I ain't got nobody here, I know my death ain't detrimental. Man, I swear I'm so done with all this shit that I done been through, yeah. Man, I swear I'm so done with all this shit that I done been through, yeah. Man, I swear I'm so done with all this shit that I done been through, yeah. Man, I swear I'm so done with all this shit that I done been through, yeah.
I like the nice long outro there. The nice long outro gives you time to like, you know, it just gives you time to reflect on the track. To be honest with you, but um, back with the fucking emotional hitter, man. I don't know how he does it. Like from time to time. Well, I mean, I know how he does it, but it's like they're all so unique and different. That's one thing about these that's like, man. But let's break this one down, chat. So we're talking about three things. We'll talk about the instrumental, talk about vocals, talk about the overall theme of Too Many Lows. So let's talk instrumental. With that said, the mix is fucking fantastic. I like the mix a lot. You know, I'll be honest, Mac is kind of an artist that's like pretty consistent with their mixes these days. Super solid, like instrumental wise, vocal wise, pretty much the whole package, right? But strictly like speaking on the instrumental, everything cuts through nicely. Vocals sit nice and level. Nothing clashing too overbearing. Nothing even came to mind throughout this mix where I was just like, you know, but again, not really a shocker, like I said. So that's something you really always got to like point out when it comes to Mac. So yeah, very important. So mix on point, absolutely. Instrumental shining star. um, hmm. I'm kind of big on the drums. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say drums. Like even down to the sound selection, they're really solid. But the way that they knock is kind of like that. Kind of like goes above and beyond. So, definitely the drums. Structure's a close second though. So the instrumental solid, definitely the drums. Let's talk vocals. So, when it comes to vocals, again, mix is great. Vocals sit nice, nothing clashing too overbearing. Mac's nice and loud. Everything's kind of leveled. Um, not too raw vocals, but not overly processed either. I think Mac did a really good job with these, to be honest with you. And how they're all laid out, and really how the mix is in general. So again, kind of not really a shocker, but something you always want to take note of when it comes to um Mac, and really like how consistent they actually are. Um, so um, vocal shining star. Flow and cadence might be it. I'm not gonna lie. Like flow and cadence or writing. Flow and cadence or writing. I'm really leaning towards flow and cadence just because it brings that like emotional edge to this track that otherwise the lyrics like just can't because they're lyrics. But Matt kind of really like has a good like flow and cadence here, to be honest with you. Writing though, writing's kind of crazy because there's a lot of good wordplay here. There's a lot of good like Mac two times kind of writing. So I don't know. I'm kind of torn between the two. Hmm. Ah. I can't tell, man. Cause like I want to say writing, but the flow and cadence is probably what's gonna make the replayability like very important. So probably flow and cadence, to be honest with you. Um, just because it's got that fast paced flow and cadence coming at you with like really emotional, important lyrics. Um, so flow and cadence, absolutely. But writing's a close second. So let's talk theme. Aesthetics. Obviously, this cover would be fire if it was cropped correctly. Like I feel like that's the only thing. You know, you just gotta move it over to the left a little bit, but definitely has that Mac two times flavor to it as well. Parental advisory, the bottom right. Um, it definitely has that like alone, kind of like low down in the dumps kind of feel for sure. Definitely. So nice little recrop, and you'll be good to go. But obviously, a solid Mac two times track. Uh, when it comes to cover art. So overall theme: too many lows. I mean, this is a track where Mac is kind of not only voicing frustration here, but also kind of talking about the really specifics of kind of dealing with being down in the dumps and really dealing with a lot of lows and a lot of highs and getting high because of the lows. And you know, that's something that I think everybody can relate to in some form or another. And then if you don't, you kind of like start to get yourself in Mac two times his shoes, and you kind of start to understand like what it's like to kind of have a lot of shit just go bad like after another, one after another, after another, after another, and just repeat, repeat, repeat. And I feel like Mac was definitely voicing a lot of frustrations on here. And I think Mac did a really good job kind of getting out that frustration while also kind of being like rational with their emotion and like being honest as well. So it's a good mix of everything here for sure. But with that said, huge shout out to Mac two times. Thank you so much for the submission, my friend. Much, much love. Make sure you follow Mac two times on SoundCloud. They're 5 follows away from 30. And of course, make sure you follow Mac two times on Twitter. They are 2 follows away from 140 or 12 away from 150. Go show them some love on the bird app, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 220 subaroonies over there on the main channel. Go show these artists and the channel some love, my friends. And of course, per usual, you guys know the drill, man. We upload 2 times a week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, a whole lot of good stuff's available there. So, go show these guys some love. Absolutely. And if you already have, thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate you here at Music Mondays. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But up next, we left off with Mac 2 times, but we got the homie Braden. Now Braden's been on the tear, man. Like weekly drops, like ever since 2023 fucking started. Lots of collabs, lots of everything. but an alternative vocalist submitted a track titled "Looking at the Stars." Let's see what we got here, Jeff. Let's see here. So, another collab here from the homie Braden. I'm with it. I'm with it. Let's see what we got here. Let's get into it. Braden, Looking at the Stars.
Should've known right then you would hurt me. I know I'm not deserving of love, but at this point I have had enough. One day you're talking about marriage, now you're breaking my heart. I am way too paranoid, I knew it happened from the start. Now I'm laying down on the grass and I'm looking at the stars. You look so damn gorgeous, you're a fucking work of art. One day you're talking about marriage, now you're breaking my heart. I am way too paranoid, I knew it happened from the start. Now I'm laying down on the grass and I'm looking at the stars. You look so damn gorgeous, you're a fucking work of art. I've been through spirals. And it's every time I can't climb out of the fold. I don't wanna sit here in silence, but it seems that's all you really want from me. I don't understand your crazy mind, your science. You think I'm heartless. Wish I could help, but it's not a crisis. One day you're talking about marriage, now you're breaking my heart. I am way too paranoid, I knew it happened from the start. Now I'm laying down on the grass and I'm looking at the stars. You look so damn gorgeous, you're a fucking work of art. One day you're talking about marriage, now you're breaking my heart. I am way too paranoid, I knew it happened from the start. Now I'm laying down on the grass and I'm looking at the stars. You look so damn gorgeous, you're a fucking work of art.
Damn. Holy shit.
Work of art. One day you're talking about marriage, now you're breaking my heart. I am way too paranoid, I knew it happened from the start. Now I'm laying down on the grass and I'm looking at the stars. You look so damn gorgeous, you're a fucking work of art.
What a fucking banger, bro. What the fuck? Ah, damn. Let's go, man. Let's go. Holy shit. I cannot wait to break this one down. So, let's get into it, my friends. We're talking about three things here. We're talking about the instrumental, talk about vocals, talk about the overall theme of Looking at the Stars. So, let's see here. Yeah, I can't wait to talk about the aesthetics as well. But, let's talk instrumental, man, because this instrumental is wow, 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 wow. So let's talk mix. This is a very crispy fucking mix. A very, very crispy mix from the homie Braden. To be honest with you, like, you know, not really a shocker, but something you always gotta point out, right? But when it comes to the instrumental, everything's very, very solid. Nice and level. Nothing clashing too overbearing. Vocals sit really, really nice. Everything cuts through nicely. Nothing that's like overly like in your face at all. Yeah, no, the instrumental mix is really, really like stellar. Really fucking stellar. Instrumental Shining Star. Structure's right up there, but the drums are fucking crazy too. The drums are really, really crazy. But I do love the melody though. And the structure's right up there, like I said. Probably the drums, to be honest with you, just because they keep up such a like great fast-paced element, but also like keep that emotion up as well. So probably the drums. I'm not gonna lie. Probably the drums. Hmm. So the instrumental solo, definitely drums. Let's talk vocals here. Man, oh man, oh man. So vocal mix is fucking great per usual, just like the instrumental. Nothing clashing to overbearing. Everything nice and level. Vocals are like perfectly mixed, not like super like raw, but not like overly processed either. Has a really really solid mix when it comes to the vocals. Um, but again, like I said, not really a shocker, but something you always got to point out. Um, I love the hook, but the writing overall is just insane. The flow and cadence is right up there as well. So probably the writing, and then the hook and the flow and cadence are like right behind it. But the writing throughout the whole track is like right fucking there, man. Like really, really right there for sure. Um, so instrumental solid, definitely the drums. Vocal solid, definitely the writing. Um, hmm. Let's talk theme. Um, Aesthetics. I mean, you guys know how I feel about these, bro. You guys know how I feel about these. Super simple, but super aesthetically pleasing. To be honest with you, if you don't know, Braden does a really good job, kind of keeping up with like a consistent theme here. Even though, of course, it's not required. It's not really like a big deal if you do or don't. If you want to use something different as a cover, you always can. But these are just like really good way to identify a quick Braden track, right? Um, so I always really enjoy those. But the title "Looking at the Stars" is definitely a play on the hook and the lyrics. But even deeper than that, um, the song is so fast paced, and I think it's so like interesting that it's also like a track about how fast things can change, right? With people, with relationships, with friendships, and you go from this to that. You're talking about you love me and now you hate me, and there's so many like up and down feelings when it comes to dealing with emotions like that. And Braden captures it in a really solid way, but also just kind of like brings it back home with kind of like putting us in their shoes when it comes to like looking up at the stars and kind of like making the listener feel comfortable, but also kind of getting what they need to say off their chest when it comes to what they want to say on a track like this. You know what I mean? So I feel like Braden never really holds back when it comes to not only getting what they want to say out, but also kind of making tracks that they also enjoy when it comes to the melodical elements or the flow and cadence and things like that. So the very like unique emotional experience, and this one is definitely like top fucking tier for sure. So with that said, a huge shout out to Braden. Thank you so much for the submission, my friend. Much love. Make sure you follow Braden on Spotify. Braden's been killing it over there, pretty much everywhere. And of course, make sure you follow Braden on Twitter, my friends. They're 10 followers away from 50. Go show them some love on the bird app, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 220 subscribers on the main channel. We're about 10 away from 220, so go show some love over there on YouTube. And of course, if you already have, we appreciate you. And thank you. And if you guys didn't know, we upload 2 times a week, every Thursday, every Saturday, full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, underground tips and tricks, a whole lot of good stuff's available over there on the channel. So go show these artists and the channel some love, my friends. Thank you. So we left off with the homie Braden, but you guys know what time it is. We are about halfway through our submissions and halfway through the show. So I'm gonna need all you guys to get up and go get a drink, go get a snack, go take a bathroom break, go do whatever you got to do. And Music Mondays will be right back with episode 141. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with the Music Mondays podcast, episode 141. I hope you're well. Hope you're chilling. Hope you had a good break. But let's continue on, my friends. So we ended off with the homie Braden. Huge shout out to Braden. Thank you so much for your submission. Let's continue on. Up next, we got the homie Filter. Now, this is an artist who we had interviewed earlier in the summer. A very, very talented alternative vocalist and producer. This week they submitted a track titled Blood. Let's see what we got here. Could be unreleased. Yeah. We got some exclusive unreleased here. Let's see what we got here from Homie Filter. Oh, okay. Lyrics and description as well. Let's get into it. Exclusive unreleased Filter premiering right now on Music on Mondays. Blood.
It comes, is that gingivitis. Everything I touch seems to go like a Midas. All I wanna be referred to is highness. You say that you lie, you put it behind us. It comes, is that gingivitis. Everything I touch seems to go like a Midas. All I wanna be referred to is highness. You say that you lie, you put it behind us. Past mistakes, you thought is when I started. Basically, I'm saying no idea what my heart is. Can't be real with blood that I'm spilled. Till I'm feeling the new source of heal. Past mistakes, you thought is when I started. Basically, I'm saying no idea what my heart is. Can't be real with blood that I'm spilled. Till I'm feeling the new source of heal.
Jesus. Okay. That one comes in really fucking quick and leaves really fucking quick. Like, holy shit. Alrighty, my friends. Let's break this one down. So, we're talking about three things here. We'll talk about the instrumental. Let's talk about the overall theme of Blood. So, let's talk instrumental. Man, oh man. So, when it comes to the instrumental, talk mix. Mix is great. Filter has a really interesting process when it comes to their instrumentals. They leave like a very like particular and specific amount of mud in a lot of the things that they do, and I think it works out really well for them. For the most part, anyway. I feel like it's just the right amount of like mud and like griminess in their instrumentals. Everything is like super like really leveled, really well mixed, nothing clashing to overbearing. Definitely one of those instrumentals that's like it's really like finely tuned, but it leaves in enough of the mud that you're like, okay, like I see what's going on. But again, not really a shocker for somebody like Filter, just because um that's kind of the usual for sure, but you always got to point it out as well. So very important. Um, let's talk Shining Star. So, this is a pretty loaded instrumental, if I'm being honest with you. Um, not loaded in the aspect that it has a lot of sounds, but loaded in the aspect that it's very like vibrant and loud and very much like in your face. Um, so I kind of want to say drums, Drums are definitely up there for the Shining Star, but the overall structure really is too. Because if you look at the waveform, it's got those drops in it that are just it's really another level. It's really another level. So if not the drums, probably the structure. Um, I like the melody too, though. Melody's kind of like pretty underrated as well. Um, Probably the drums though. Probably the drums though. But the structure and the melody are definitely a close second. Definitely. Let's talk vocals. So vocals are great. Much like the instrumental, the mix is very solid. Nothing clashing too overbearing. Everything sits really nice in the instrumental. Definitely, everything cuts through nicely, nice and level. Not like super raw vocals, but not like overly processed either. Um, the filter hits like a nice middle ground, but again, kind of like a staple, not really like a shocker. But definitely something you always want to point out as well. Um, Vocal Shining Star. So this one's kind of interesting because I really like the writing. I feel like the hook is really up there, but I think the thing that really sold me was the flow and cadence. Very catchy, very like very melodic. It just has this kind of like flavor to it that's like okay. Okay. So the flow and cadence is definitely up there, but writing's a close second for sure. So instrumental solid, definitely the drums. Vocal solid, definitely the flow and cadence and delivery. Writing's a close second. Let's talk theme. So, aesthetics. Now, of course, exclusive unreleased filter, so obviously not an official cover, just a little placeholder. And even if it was the official cover, I still think it would bang, to be honest with you, especially when it comes to these IRL photos. But temporary cover always does it justice. Definitely like that shot. Um, Overall theme, blood. Um, Now, I mean, looking at the lyrics, this is definitely like a very self-reflective, um, kind of like outward storytelling track with really like, Filter talking about how they feel in the past and the present, but also kind of the future as well. This is a very like specific kind of track that has a lot of like wordplay on it that's very specific to Filter. It's very much like um subliminal kind of personal kind of wordplay. This is a very like specific track, and it's definitely one that is descriptive, but at the same time makes you think. It's definitely not a track you're gonna like fully like embrace at first lyrically, but the more you listen to it, you're like, damn, this is actually kind of crazy because of how visually like easy it is to like understand what Filter's saying. This is definitely like a song that would grow on people as time went on, for sure. Definitely. So well done. Huge shout out to Filter for letting us premiere that here on Music Mondays. Make sure you follow Filter on SoundCloud. They're 2 follows away from 240. And of course, make sure you follow Filter on Twitter, man. They're literally 5 away from 30 followers. Go show them some love in the Bird app. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 220 Subarunis on the main Music Mondays channel. Go show these artists in the channel some love, my friends. And of course, you guys know the drill, man. We upload 2 times a week, every Thursday, every Saturday, full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, underground tips and tricks, and a whole lot of good stuff's available there. So go show the channel and these guys some love. And if you haven't, do so. And if you have, thank you. Mark, room looking extra bright today. Um, it was probably just the fucking white page on SoundCloud flashbanging, to be honest with you. What's good? Happy Mother Trucking Monday. Hope you're well. Let's get it, baby. So we left off with the homie Filter. Up next we have Thomas Marcus. Now, I don't think we got into Thomas's submission last week because we ran over time limit for our 4-hour show. So, this one will be very interesting. a very talented alternative producer, submitted a brand new track. Let's see what we got here. Okay, Thomas. Okay. September 14th. So this is like barely even a month old, to be honest with you. Barely even a month old. So let's get into it. Thomas Marcus. And wow, this art's actually crazy. Holy shit. Yeah, it's pretty cooked. All right, let's get into it. Brand new Thomas Marcus. Let's go. What a vibe this is, Jesus. Huh. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's talk about this. Let's break this one down. So, a couple things to talk about. We're talking about two things actually. Obviously, um, no vocals. So we're talking about the instrumental and we're talking about the overall theme of this track. So, let's talk instrumental. Mix is great. Nothing clashy to overbearing. Drums are solid. Melody solid. Everything's nice and level. Nothing's like too out of place, too clashy, too overbearing. No, I think the mix is very, very solid. And Thomas is a producer that kind of usually has a pretty good breakdown on their instrumentals and really how they mix them. So mix is really solid, but not really a shocker either. So definitely got to point that out. But instrumental Shining Star. So I like the drum selection. I like the overall mix. Definitely brings like a lo-fi kind of like relaxed kind of alt rock feel. Um the structure I would have liked to see break down a little bit more and switch up a bit because it was definitely um I think the drums were like in the track pretty much the whole time. I would have let the melodies have some space. So the drums got a bit repetitive, so I think that like led me to like listen for the melodies more. And I think the melodies kind of easily like outweighed that 100%. The drums definitely keep the bounce up throughout the track for sure. A little bit of the groove, but the melodies are what's bringing the passion and the personality for sure. So definitely the mel's here. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, so let's talk theme. So aesthetics. I noticed Thomas has these like insane covers, and I know DistroKid has that AI generated art software. So this is definitely. I mean, I could be wrong, but this is definitely in that kind of direction, which just makes this look insane. You know what I mean? But what I do like that Thomas does is kind of goes above and beyond and just kind of like puts the Thomas Marcus watermark on there just to like really keep up the Thomas Marcus branding, which is always a W for sure. Even if it is AI art. This is a very interesting one though because this is probably like a very like subliminal personal track for Thomas and more so um a self-expression than it is like an outward expression for the world to consume. This is a very like a very much like an official kind of um way of Thomas to just really like get their thoughts out without vocals or anything like that. So I think Thomas does a really good job making a lot of their tracks very like personal and specific to them. So with that said, huge shout out to Thomas Marcus. Thank you so much for this submission, my friend. Much, much love. Make sure you follow Thomas on Spotify. And of course, make sure you follow Thomas on Twitter. Thomas is 9 followers away from 70. Go show him some love on the Bird app. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to Music Monday's YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 220 subscribers on the main channel. Make sure you go show these artists on the main channel some love. We upload 2 times a week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, a whole lot of good stuff is available over there on the channel. If you already have, thank you. Jay, what's good? I hope you're well. Welcome on in, homie. Happy motherfucking Monday. Glad I can make it in some tonight. Hope you're well. Let's get it, baby. Let's get it. Welcome on in. So, we left off with the homie Thomas Marcus, and up next we have a first time submitting artist, I believe, on the podcast. I think they made SoundCloud Sunday this week, but I don't think we reacted to them here on the show. Or maybe we have. I can't remember, but if it was SoundCloud Sunday, then this is a first time submission. If they have, I definitely don't remember. So let's see what we got here. We have Broken Nomads, and they submitted a track titled Nevermore. Yeah, I believe this was a SoundCloud Sunday submission that we had. But I'm very interested nonetheless. Sweden music, healthy lifestyle, ambient, downtempo. Okay. Yeah, no, I feel like we got there for SoundCloud Sunday, but that's it. August 31st, 2023. Nevermore was tracked roughly a year ago. We were figuring out how to work on songs and difficulty being together physically due to distance and family. Started back and forth Dropbox. We linked with different DAWs later. Started working on Discord. It's trying to be great for us. Share screen and sound. Right. Nevermore, we started out steady beat melody. Okay. Broken Nomads. Okay. Let's get into it. All right. So 1080. Let's check out comments first. Lots of love in the comments. Okay. Let's get into it. Broken Nomads. Nevermore. So this edit was really fucking solid. I like this edit a lot. Um, much to discuss. Much to discuss about this. So, obviously an instrumental, so no vocals. We're gonna talk about two things instead of three. Um, okay. So let's talk instrumental. Let's talk mix. The mix is pretty solid. I'm not gonna lie. With the amount of sounds going in and out of this track, between the pads, the mells, the synths, everything here, the mix is relatively solid with all of the instruments and all the VSTs that are in here. I think the drums were a bit left behind. I felt like the drums were a bit soft for my personal liking, but that could have been like a creative preference. You know, like some people prefer drums like that. So if that was the case, then okay. But I would have liked to see those drums knock just a little bit harder. Um, Particularly the kick was a bit soft for like how epic and like um theatrical a lot of these sounds were. I do feel like the kick um, could have been knocking a little bit harder for sure. But again, that's kind of like a creative thing because that's really like your preference in mixing. So again, I don't normally like to harp on anybody's mixing too much because again, it's very much like it's a preference thing, right? It's creative integrity is really what it is. So outside of that, I think the mix is really solid, especially for like what this track is, right? Super theatrical, has a lot of personality, very epic sounding. It's up there with personality for sure. So the mix is very solid, very very solid. Um, Instrumental Shining Star. So I would uh, so like I feel like the melodies are definitely the shining star here, especially with the counter melodies and the sound selection for pretty much everything involved in this song is very much on point. Outside of the drums anyway. So the melodies definitely take the cake here for a shining star when it comes to the instrumental. This song clocks in at 6:31. I definitely think for an instrumental like this, I would have cut back like maybe like a minute or so and kept like the long intro because I felt somewhere towards the middle that it was getting a bit repetitive. Um, and that's coming from a producer that like, I was always so self-conscious of that. But again, it's very much like it's a creative thing, right? Because some of these tracks are very much like meant to be stories. They're very much meant to be told in certain ways. So if they end up being a little bit over than your typical track, that's not really a bad thing. I think you just need to make sure it has enough variety and it has enough versatility so it doesn't kind of get that repetitive kind of aspect going with it. You know what I mean? Like if each new section isn't adding or taking away something new, it eventually will just get repetitive. That's why you see most things only go 2 to 3 minutes, um besides the ones with like super long intros, right? So you're gonna see your occasional 4 or 5 minute ones, but 6:30 is definitely a hefty one for sure. Definitely a hefty one. But luckily, a lot of the melodies, a lot of these sound selections, and a lot of the synths here, were very well selected. So I feel like it complemented this a lot. Um, so for me, the shining star is definitely the sound selection and definitely the melodies, 100%. Let's talk theme. So, obviously, no cover. They went with a kind of astro space galactic kind of visual, right? Which I definitely think fits this kind of sound. It like it could have been this or even like a little bit more of like a cyber kind of feel as well. I feel like a cyber futuristic kind of like 2077 kind of feel could have worked as well. But either way, I think they did a good job kind of selecting like the feel and a visual aspect 100%. Um, and the overall theme of Nevermore, right? I mean, it is an instrumental track, so um, realistically, um, I feel like a lot of the sounds, namely the melodies, kind of drove this space cyber kind of feel, and the Nevermore kind of theme just fell into place realistically. Like this is kind of a no brainer just because on how it makes you feel. This is a very much a feel based theme. And I think Broken Nomads did a really good job um zoning in on that theme and on that feeling of what this track can make you feel like. So well done. Huge shout out to Broken Nomads. Thank you so much for this submission, my friends. Much, much love. Make sure you follow Baroka Nomads on YouTube. They are 2 Subarunis away from 40. And of course, make sure you follow Broken Nomads on Twitter. They are 7 followers away from 410. Go show them some love on the bird app, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 220 subscribers on the main channel, man. We're about 10 away, so go show us some love over there on the channel. And go show these artists some love as well. And of course, 2 times per week, every Thursday, every Saturday, we upload full podcast segments, exclusive podcast episodes. You guys know the drill. A whole lot of really good stuff over there on the channel. So make sure you go show these artists in the channel some love. So we left off with the homies Broken Nomads, but up next we have a first time submitting artist, Norm Rockwell. Now, we're gonna go in super blind. This is an artist that we have not featured on the show before. So they submitted 209 to Infinity EP down below. Okay. So we got a full EP here. So obviously, we're not gonna go through each track, but we will go through the first track and see what we're working with here. In this 5-track EP. So it looks to be 1 feature, 5 tracks. July 7th, 2023. So this is relatively earlier in the summer, but not super old at all. Still relatively new. So obviously we're going to go with the first track on the EP, so let's get into it. Norm Rockwell, first time submitting artist, Bread and Water.
Today's a new day, a new opportunity to do something. You can do anything, ain't no sense in doing nothing. He's screaming movement, we don't see you move nothing. Just trying to press these women so you can screw something. Guess you just don't know how much power you got in the head of yours, or you're just a coward. Tony Montana said this world is ours. The Bible says everything in it shall be devoured. So what do you trust more, your money or your woman? Then when they both walk on, you will see you Sunday morning. Shouting, screaming, and moaning. How could God save me before you even noticed that it was you who ran off? Thought you could control it, but the road is so much smoother when you know where it's going.
Okay.
So I send my condolence to anyone who crashed, caught in a moment. I almost lost my soul behind a pretty woman. She was a runaway bride, she had plenty money, but she thought I was blind, made Stevie wonder if she was Panda Express trying to be Benny Hannes. So I was riding solo, ducking Benny Blancas, a musketeer in a room full of Willy Wonkas. Feeling pretty popular, been in corners with the squad, chasing plenty dollars, but we still live hungry, that's how we stay focused. Here to the good times, yes, we stay rolling until the wheels fall off, then we call Midas. That means when our time comes, we see the Almighty. God forgive me for my calm, yes, so harsh delivery. But pause, these boys ain't got the bars to get with me. The song will be on pause indefinitely. Tell the boys pick up all of what's left of me. No one man can handle all that pressure. Glad I got beat for all that catch up that I must do for going through all that struggle that made me stronger. Look at all that muscle, and for every tear shed, another man's hickory. But I never spoil my blessings behind the memories of anger, lust, greed, and trickery that put me on a goose chase and ride out my misery. Swallow my pride, regain my dignity. Sometimes I gotta take losses to have victory, and the rest is history. Now I'm flying, no luggage, destination to infinity. Y'all wanna come to the feast, living good cause we thrive off the crumbs of the streets. Bread and water, shorty wanna bon appetit, making meals cause he starved enough and knows what to eat. Bread and water, y'all wanna come to the feast, living good cause we thrive off the crumbs of the streets. Bread and water, shorty wanna bon appetit, making meals cause he starved enough and knows what to eat. Bread and water.
Okay, Norm. Okay. Shit. Let's go, man. What an interesting instrumental too, like. Really solid fade out as well. Okay. So let's break this down, man. We're gonna talk about 3 things here. We're talking about the instrumental, talk about vocals, talk about the overall theme of Bread and Water. This is an impressive first time submission, that's for sure. That's for damn sure. So let's talk instrumental. One hell of a unique instrumental choice. Definitely very abstract and very like experimental. But not like too unheard of. It just has this like interesting style to it for sure. But with that said, the mix is very solid. I mean, the mix is great on it. Drums are great, nothing clashing, overbearing, nice and level. Vocals sit nice on the instrumental. Everything knocks. Yeah, no gripes with the instrumental mix at all. Super tight and well rounded. Instrumental shining star is probably the drums. The drums were like very unique, but they knocked. like the drums fucking knocked, and like it like even down to the sound selection was very like interesting. Like it's a very surprising choice as an instrumental, but I feel like Norm absolutely killed it. So the drums definitely. Um, let's talk vocals here. So vocal mix is great. Not too raw, not too over processed, nice and clear, nice and it just has that perfect loudness. Everything on the instrumental cuts through nicely. The vocals sit nicely. No gripes for the vocals at all. I didn't really notice anything that I would have changed, or I was like, oh, that's a little bit rough or anything like that. I definitely feel like Norm did a good job, and whoever mixed these definitely did a really good job. Absolutely. Um. Okay, so vocal shining star has got to be the writing. Like the flow and cadence is a close second, but the writing here was crazy. Like punchline after punchline, just kind of wordplay that's like makes you go like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like there's a couple lines in here I was like, okay, like shit. It was a pleasure listening to Norm kind of really go in on this kind of instrumental. You know what I mean? Just because it's a very like non-conventional instrumental. It's not that crazy, but it's not something you hear a lot. Um, so definitely at writing, I feel like flow and cadence is another close one for sure, but writing's definitely up there. So instrumental solid, drums are definitely a shining star, vocals are solid, writing is definitely a shining star. Let's talk theme. So aesthetics, 209 to Infinity, Norm Rockwell. I mean, what more could you ask for a EP cover? I mean, 5-track EP. This goes fucking dummy hard. This would almost go too hard for a single. I like that this is a project cover because this goes really hard. Whoever did this did a really good job. I like the foreground a lot. I like the text a lot, and then we got Norm right here. Like this one, I think what really sold it for me though was the color palette. I feel like this color palette, you know, the purple, blue, white, reddish kind of deal going on here, I liked a lot. Um, so aesthetics on point. Bread and water. I mean, definitely a play on the bars that Norm had about, you know, eating bread and water and being, you know, that motherfucking broke. But also it's a really good intro song to like, you know, entice you on what else is coming throughout this whole project. You know what I mean? Like really, really like sets the stage for like a come up, you know, talk about the past and the present kind of deal and really like where you came from and talk about the roots and like, you know, where you grew up, how you grew up, who you grew up with, you know what I mean? So this is a great song to like kick off a whole EP from somebody that you've never heard of. So that's why I think this track is like the perfect starter track to be honest with you. It would definitely entice me to dive into more of this and hear Norm speak on um a lot more to be honest with you. So, um, definitely hit the nail on the head when it comes to like a first track on an EP for sure. So with that said, huge shout out to Norm. Thank you so much for the submission, my friend. Much love. Make sure you follow Norm on Spotify and of course make sure you follow Norm on Twitter. They are 6 followers away from 490, man. Go show Norm some fucking love on the bird at my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube free upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 220 Subaroonies on the main channel, my friends. We upload 2 times a week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, and a whole lot of good stuff's available over there on the channel. So go show these artists and the channel some love. And if you already have, we appreciate you here at Music Mondays. Thank you, my friends. So, up next, we left off with the homie Norm Rockwell, but we got the homie Bloodcat. Now, Bloodcat's an artist that we weren't able to get to last week. So this will be very exciting because Bloodcat's still been grinding despite many personal ups and downs, right? So, Bloodcat submitted a track titled Gummy Bear Breath. Now, for those of you that don't know Bloodcat, a very versatile and a very talented alternative vocalist. Let's see what we got here from the homie BCat, man. This cover is actually crazy. This cover is actually fucking nuts. From the upcoming mixtape Possum, engineered by Lil Snoozer. Okay. I love this cover though. This cover is actually fucking crazy. This is actually such a crazy cover. Holy shit. Okay, let's get into it. Bloodcat, Gummy Bear Breath.
You know, like a t-shirt, your suitcase, space safer. Put me on like a t-shirt, till your latest face. Baby, when I feel so far away, no, I'm only in your pocket, yeah. When we get a little face to face, I'ma hit it like a boppin', yeah. But for now, carry me around while you walk this down, like you
What?
down on a strange new moon. You can hit me up with every little breakthrough, every little big is just the icing on a cake. For now, look around and find out. Cause you're jolly, not your ice water fresh, you're the best, yeah. Give me, gummy bear breath, yeah. Gummy bear breath up on my lip and on my neck, I'm about to freeze up. I know how to please her. Eating peanut butter cookies in a Benz truck. I love how she don't give a fuck about what her friends want. A baby wants a baby need, I'm buzzing like a baby bee. It's big-headed baby me, 7:30 to 3:30. I let the 30s be the baby needs what baby wants, so please, baby, roll a blunt. Lick it right through the rain like a slip and slide. We always find a way to get by. It's crazy how to stay so tight when your face so fine. But now, look around and find out.
Okay.
Cause you're jolly, not your ice water fresh, you're the best, yeah. Give me, gummy bear breath, yeah.
Damn! See, like, the fact that these are coming out this good and Bloodcat's recording like that is just like, wow, man. That's so cool. That is so fucking cool. Alright, let's break this one down. So, we're gonna talk about three things. We're gonna talk about the instrumental, talk about vocals, talk about the overall theme of Gummy Bear Breath. So, instrumental. I love the choice. This is a very like Bloodcat, Beach Boy, West Coast, summer kind of instrumental. So I just like the choice in general from Bloodcat, if I'm being honest with you. But the mix itself is great. Drums are solid. Not too like crazy drums, but the melody is like very prominent. Nice and level, nothing clashing, too overbearing at all. Bloodcat sits nice on the instrumental. Yeah, no gripes at all. Like even now, with Bloodcat kind of recording like this, I definitely think the mix is still very, very solid. So the instrumental mix very solid. Instrumental shining star might be the guitar. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just really like this melody and like the way it was utilized. It just sounds like a great like end of the summer, like early fall, autumn kind of instrumental. And I feel like it definitely is the melody for sure. So the melody is definitely my shining star, but the structure's up there as well. So let's talk vocals here. Now, obviously, the mix is pretty much the best as it can be from recording from a fucking phone, right? So, I feel like Bloodcat does a really good job with what they're given, right? And kind of like the tools that they have. So, well done. You know what I mean? Like the vocal mix comes out solid for like the limited tools that they have and like the limited amount of like recording that they're allowed to do and can do. So Lil Snoozer did a decent job cleaning this up and really making it somewhat clear, right? Like I definitely feel like it goes above and beyond to like be a clean mix and you always got to respect that. But like Jay said in the chat, mixtape vibes for sure has that like old school kind of like feel to it a little bit as well. So the mix is solid, man. The mix is solid, especially considering like what it is. I like the mix a lot, definitely, definitely. Um, Vocal shining star. Now, I was gonna say writing. But as the track went on, the flow and cadence was just like the flow and cadence really just kind of like blew this out of the water for me. It really really did. So writing is a close second, but flow and cadence absolutely. So instrumental solid, definitely the melody. Vocal solid, definitely flow and cadence. Writing close second. Let's talk theme, and this might be one of my favorite Bloodcat covers ever. I don't know why it looks so tasty and so cute at the same time. How the fuck is that possible? What is that? What is that? Like, damn, man. I love that cover. And the color palette's great too. I mean, gummy bear breath. Like, come on now. So big on that cover. Aesthetics definitely on point. Pleasure to look at. Overall theme. I mean, the title's kind of like self-explanatory, right? Bloodcat definitely has a couple bars in there where the gummy bears and gummy bear breath is kind of like the main topic, but it's also very much like a showcase of lyricism as well on top of it though. But it also feels like that classical, like I said, like Beach Boy, Cali, kind of like end of summer, late night, kind of like it's a very like peaceful kind of vibe going on in this track, and it has a very like love but like alternative kind of feel to it, but it's also makes you want to get up and move. It's a very like specific mix of sounds and feelings in this track. Because it's not just hip hop, right? I feel like if it was just bar for bar, then we could call it that, but it's a very much different feeling when you hear a track like this. I think Bloodcat does a really good job kind of blending everything together, even now. So well done, my friend. Well done. And of course, make sure you follow Bloodcat on SoundCloud. They're approaching 1.3 on SoundCloud. And of course, make sure you follow Bloodcat on the Bird app. They are approaching 10 followers. They are about 5 away, my friends. Go show them some love on Twitter, man. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 220 subscribers on the main channel, man. We upload 2 times a week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, a whole lot of good stuff's available there on the channel, man. So make sure to show these artists and the channel some love. So, we left off with the homie Bloodcat. I love that cover so much, man. And up next, we got Lil Hendrix. Now, it's been a long time since we've heard from Lil Hendrix, man. Probably since, like, the beginning of the year. Easily since, like, the beginning of the year. But this is a very talented hip-hop vocalist. Submitted their link tree. So, let's see what we got up in this link tree here. Okay, so we got a lot of... Got some interviews, Apple Music, Twitter, TikTok. Okay. So we got the whole 9 here. Let's see. Let's just go to their Spotify. And let's see what we can go to for their most recent track. Okay, so Dying Radio Edit is... It looks like their most recent. Love and Loyalty is a 2020 album. So it looks like their latest release is the Choppa remix. It looks like it. So this is everything. Yeah, okay. So the Choppa remix with T Kill Tech and Lil Hendrix. Let's see what we got here. Alright, so this is the most recent, August 15th, 2023, about a month ago. Relatively new. Cover actually goes hard because it's that like low quality S kind of feel as well. Okay, let's get into it. Choppa remix, Lil Hendrix. Let's go.
Gang, bitch, gang. 4-5 nigga, till I motherfucking die. A Lil Hendrix took his bitch. Whoa, chop on me, know the bitch loaded. Pull up on me if you wanna come and hold it. He was talking all the smack to the left, the ass bloated. RP, Pop Smoke, gotta stay toted. All these niggas hating on me cause you know I stay golded. Pull up the scene in a brand new Rover. Pull up the scene in a brand new Rover. Got the yoppers in the back, case your nigga wanna hold up. Pussy head nigga, he was talking all the smack till I put it at the gas station. Shot him in the back.
Okay.
Now he rolling on the ground like a motherfucking cat. Now he getting stepped on like a motherfucking mat. Ayy, bitch, lay off the crack. Don't hit my phone, if it ain't about a pack. Ayy, bitch, hurry, need a sack. Pull up to the 4-5, you know where it's at. Ayy, bitch, you know I'm smoking dope. Round Dallas with a motherfucking scope. But the cops pull up, I'm hitting that hoe. I don't give a fuck, it's a hot box, bro. Doing like 80 in the school zone. The way I've been acting, they think I'm a clone. These pussy ass niggas won't catch me alone. Bitch ass niggas started hitting my phone. He saw his bitch leaving my home. Sent him a video with screams and the moans. Yo, bitch ain't loyal, better leave her alone. She just come over to give me some dome. We pull her with a mask, when he alone. We might hit a lick, we right in your home. Get down on the ground, say hi to this chrome. Ayy, bitch, say hi to this chrome. Hi to this chrome.
Damn, bruh.
Little bitch say hi to this chrome. Little bitch, I will send you home. Too damn fly to be at home. Fuck that crowd, I do what I want. Dick in her mouth, fuck what she saying. Pull out the Glock and I just start spraying. Fuck all the cops, they don't know how to dance. Yeah. I'm tryna run that shit way up. Nigga want smoke, he get laid up. We put blood on his face like some makeup. Ain't no crack in this trap, boy, you fucking trippin'. Yeah, I call all the place, I be fucking bliss. Ain't no weed in that tray, boy, I'm fucking trippin'. Yeah, get down on the ground and say hi to this chrome.
The fuck?
Get down on the ground and say hi to this chrome. Get down on the ground and say hi to this chrome. Get down on the ground and say hi to this chrome. Get down on the ground and say hi to this chrome. You a bitch ass little nigga, I send you right home. You a bitch ass little nigga, I send you right home. Yeah.
Okay, buddy. This was crazy. This was fucking crazy. This felt like raw modern underground hip hop. That's what this really felt like, if I'm being honest with you. Like this felt very grimy and very like hidden. I like these vibes a lot. So we're gonna talk about it, man. Let's break this one down. We're gonna talk about three things. We're gonna talk about the instrumental, talk about vocals, talk about the overall theme of Choppa. So let's talk instrumental. Instrumental's great. Nothing clashing to overbearing at all. Drums are solid, sound selection is solid, and everything cuts through nicely. Yeah. No, I'm pretty big on this instrumental. It's really well crafted and super simple. Like this is a very like minimal kind of instrumental that lets the vocals kind of shine and as long as the drums are banging, you'll kind of get a good product, a good final product. So the mix is solid. I like the muddiness on the 808 as well. But instrumental mix solid. Instrumental shining star. Definitely the drums, not even a question. Even, all the way down to the sound selection, definitely the drums for sure. Let's see here. So instrumental solid, definitely the drums on the shining star. Let's talk vocals. So, vocal mix is really solid. Again, not too raw of vocals, but it's not like overly processed as well. I feel like both of their mixes were just at the right point. Like it's not super like it's not like super raw, but it's not also like overly mixed either. I definitely think this is like a perfect sweet spot for these two. To like have their like a vocal still be prominent, but it's still nice and crispy. And of course everything was nice and level as well. So vocal mix definitely solid. Vocal shining star. I was gonna say flow and cadence, but the writing for both of these two is really solid as well. It felt like that kind of freestyle like approach, but flow and cadence kind of like really put it over the top. So, I'm kind of torn between those two. Probably flow and cadence though, to be honest with you. Flow and cadence is definitely gonna. It's gonna be what kind of like brings you back, I guess. But writing is definitely a close second for sure. But flow and cadence is definitely up there, 100%. let's talk theme. So aesthetics. I like the kind of like it's got like this like low quality to it, but not really. It just reminds me of like early 2017, like 2018, like vibes 100%, 100%. So I like this cover a lot, especially for like a single or something like a remix. This is perfect, for sure, perfect. And like you know how the IRL covers go, like those are always like a safe, solid choice. So this one for sure definitely was a very very solid choice. Overall theme. So um quite literally, this theme is pretty much self-explanatory, right? Talking about um licks, guns, and wordplay. Like realistically, like kind of like a showcase of lyricism, but also kind of talking about IRL and talking about um like personal shit and personal experiences. So it's a very mix of all of those things, but mostly a lyrical showcase of what they can do and kind of bringing that like freestyle approach, but also being very like constructive with it as well. Um, so this one's really solid, and definitely can't wait to hear more from Hendrix for sure. So with that said, huge shout out to Lil Hendrix. Thank you so much for the submission, my friend. Much love. Make sure you follow Hendrix on Spotify, and of course, make sure you follow Hendrix on Twitter. They are literally 6 followers away from 90 on the Bird app. Go show them some love over there on Twitter, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube the upload. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 220 sub-roonies on the main channel, my friends. Make sure you go sub to the main channel and consider subscribing because we upload 2 times a week, every Thursday, every Saturday, full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, a whole lot of good stuff available over there on the main channel, my friends. Much love. And huge shout out to everybody that already is subscribed to the main channel. But we left off with the homie Lil Hendrix, and up next we got Offspring Mysterious, a multi-genre, multi-talented producer, editor, filmer, designer, writer, submitted Paint Fundamentals. Let's see what we got here from the homie Offspring Mysterious, my friends. I'm down for the cause. Let's see here. So Offspring's been killing it as far as the YouTube side of thing goes. So it's always a pleasure to be able to catch up with Offspring and see what we have here. So 1 month ago, relatively new, not old at all. Our second training video is in full effect. I'm with it. Let's get into it. Offspring Mysterious, Paint Fundamentals. Oh, this is gonna be good. Gonna be good right here. I like that transition. Yep. Shit. Like, what the fuck? Like, bro, are you serious? Yeah, see? That's the fucking swag right there. Huh. Holy shit. He's like, fuck. Okay, okay. Okay. Oh shit. He's like, bruh. I didn't mean run through me, not literally. I was like, this was gold. This was fucking gold, man. Okay. Okay. Like, fuck me, man. Let's go, Offspring. Let's fucking go. That was a W entry. That was a W fucking entry. Okay, okay, okay. Let's get into it. Offspring, by the way, what's good? Hope you're well. Happy Monday. Bird, what's good? Hope you're well. Happy Monday. Welcome on in. So, let's break this one down. We're going to talk about three things. We're going to talk about the instrumental, and we're going to talk about paint fundamentals as well. So, let's talk instrumental. Mix is great per usual. Offspring always has a very like well-rounded mix when it comes to the majority of their instrumentals. Especially like even the older ones, like there aren't many kind of like discrepancies as to where I'm like, oh, that mix is kind of off, but it's old. Like even like a lot of the older tracks from Offspring tend to have like a really solid mix, like a really really solid mix. So that's one thing I'm like, okay, like that's W. That's a very much W. But that's one thing I always notice about Offspring and a lot of their tracks is that the mixes are well rounded, nice and level, nice and even, nothing sticking out, nothing clashing. So this mix very solid. Instrumental Shining Star is not even a question. The drums, I think the drums are above and beyond a normal Offspring track. I really like these drums, even though this track is a bit older. I feel like these drums were on point, down to the sound selection. Melody and structure is probably a close second, but the drums kind of put this over for me, definitely. Those are beats when I first started making music. Yeah. See, like even for like the older tracks, it's kind of remarkable to see like how well they've aged and like how solid they were for back then. You know what I mean? Like I have some songs like 4 years ago that are good, but like I have some songs 4 years ago that I'm like, I'm not that a fan of. Depends, right? But this one is definitely like right up there. Yeah, you definitely know what I'm talking about. You definitely know what I'm talking about. So instrumental mix is very solid. Shining Star is definitely the drums. Let's talk Paint fundamentals. So I like a couple things about this. One, namely, I'm big on the post processing, right? The editing, the smaller edits, the transitions, and a lot of the smaller things throughout the edit that kind of makes it comfortable and makes it like intriguing to watch, right? Like you're watching the transitions, you're thinking you're kind of just absorbing the content. So the transitions here, A1, definitely. Another thing is the angles, right? And a lot of the different a kind of like slow-mo, but like interesting kind of like transitions and angles. There's a way that Offspring is kind of slowly like incorporating new angles, but also kind of like the same angles that we're used to as well. Like especially when you're limited to like only one space, I find it very typical that Offspring kind of finds new way to present the same shot to us over and over again, but it's just more refreshing, right? Not everything is always the same, which I think is like a really good use of your resources, to be honest with you. Um, so Paint Fundamentals Shining Star is probably the editing and transitions, but I like the filming a lot as well. The filming's very underrated, for sure. So with that said, a huge shout out to Offspring Mysterious. Thank you so much for the submission, my friend. Much love. Make sure you go sub to Offspring Mysterious on YouTube. They are 6 subs away from 140. And of course, make sure you follow Offspring Mysterious on Twitter. They are 1 follower away from 850. Literally 1 follower away from 850. Go show them some love on Twitter, my friend. And of course, every art's featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you have not already. We're approaching 220 sub-roonies on the main channel, my friends. We upload 2 times a week, literally. Every Thursday, every Saturday, full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, and a lot of good stuff's available over there on the main channel. So go show these artists and the main channel some love. If you already have, thank you. You're very welcome, Offspring. Thank you for your submission, my friend. Let's fucking get it. So, last submission of the night, my friends. And it's from the homies over at Young Visionaries Promotions with the homie Bad Caramel. Now, it's been some time since we heard from Bad Caramel in that. I think it's been about a month or two. Probably about a month or two or so. Let's see what we got here. So, we got the homie Bad Caramel back with Levity, and they have a track titled Aku. And it's brand new, 17 days ago. Wow. Super fresh. I feel like we've spoke a little bit about that cover as well. I feel like they've used that cover for the last track that... Yeah, okay, I remember now. Yeah. I forget what track it was, though. It might very well have been this one. It was Oranges. Yeah, I remember now. Because I was like, there aren't many with that cover, so... Let's get into it. Bad Caramel, Aku, let's go.
Nervous, I recorded to fight purpose. Think it's dumb in my car. I'm certain, yeah. Top 3 that tops me. Don't fall asleep in the hot seat. I eat that ass like the gashi. My baby grapple like Baki. Yo bitch a rat like Takashi. Y'all niggas fishy like sardines. High Park, I used to play bocce. Way past the demi, I'm godly. Why every beat is a body? Why everyone need a copy? Off tree, I'm sloppy and cocky. Don't try to knock me, I'm rocky. This music shit is a Ponzi. You go for profit, you lost me. Catch up, this not even top speed. I'm sipping beer on a hot beach. I wash it down with some sake. La dee da da dee da da dee. You gotta watch who you hang with. Been trying to tell you for ages. Can't be too friendly, it's dangerous. Can't break your bread with the strangers. Respect is better than famous. I'm trash, I'll never be famous. I like to sing when I'm bored or nervous. I recorded devoid of purpose. Think it's dumb in my core, I'm certain. I'm top 2 and not 2. Learn what to not do. I watch you. My shit been hot since haiku. I rule the future like Aku. They know me, I'm clean as fuck, but gutter made. Run away and lit a fight another day. Could've been a doctor, what a shame. Should've fit school, what a waste. I was putting this working under another name. I was sick of the bench and I started running plays. I was labeled as gifted while I was drinking and skipping. And nowadays I'm indifferent, I'm screaming fuck their prediction. Cause I decided to get this money another way. Every day is a mission, I'm fucking up their traditions. And I've been going against it, it's just another grain. I've been burning them bridges, it's just another day. I like to sing when I'm bored or nervous. I recorded devoid of purpose. Think it's dumb in my core, I'm certain, yeah. I'm number 1, your shit is done. Any rapper that go against me is fucking dumb. Any rapper that go against me is fucking done.
So fate has arrived. Many years have gone since that day. And now, my formidable foe, you will pay for my pain in the past with your pain in the future.
Let's go. That was crazy, man. I mean, Carmel's first submission to Music Mondays really set the fucking stage, so I wasn't expecting anything less than straight fucking heat. And that's exactly what we got. So, let's break this one down, my friends. We're going to talk about 3 things here. We'll talk about the instrumental, talk about vocals, talk about the overall theme of Aku. So, let's talk instrumental. Instrumental's great. I really like this choice a lot. I'm not going to lie to you. I really, really like this choice. The mix is great, though. Nothing clashing, too overbearing at all. Drums are solid. Vocals sit nice. Everything cuts through nicely. No gripes whatsoever from this instrumental mix at all. Nice and level. And again, nothing clashing, overbearing. Everything knocks. Yeah, I have no gripes with this instrumental at all. Shining Star is definitely the drums. I love the 808s on this specifically. But the drums overall were great. Melody's definitely a close second. Structure's a close second, but definitely the drums. Definitely. So instrumental solid. Definitely the drums are the shining star. Let's talk vocals. So when it comes to vocals here, again, mix is fucking solid. Carmel has like a really solid vocal mix, especially from what I remember from their last submission on a couple episodes ago. So again, not really a shocker, but something you always got to point out. Nothing clashing too overbearing. Vocals sit nice. Again, everything cuts through nicely. There's a lot of emotion in Carmel's voice that gets left in. I think that's a really great thing. But the vocal mix is very on point, definitely. Vocal shining star. So lyrics are definitely up there, right? I feel like writing is a no-brainer, but flow and cadence is really like interesting and makes for like a eye-opening track, and you're like, damn, okay, like it's very like sideways kind of flow, and it's a very much like a different delivery. So I feel like that's what is like more intriguing as like a first-time listener, right? For someone who's never heard of Bad Carmel, and they hear this flow and they're like, damn, like this dude's spitting, but he seems like kind of crazy, you know what I mean? He seems like, okay, like he's like attacking this from a different angle from when we last seen them, and it just shows how versatile they can be as a vocalist. That's what I really like about this. Writing, but I feel like flow and cadence might have to be the shining star. Flow and cadence and delivery, just because it was so unique, and I feel like writing's definitely a close second though, for sure. So instrumental solid, definitely the drums. Vocal solid, definitely the flow and cadence and delivery, but writing definitely a close second. Let's talk theme. So this is definitely a cover we've seen Carmel use before, and it kind of is almost like symbolism now, you know what I mean? Like you're gonna see this cover and you're gonna associate this with Carmel for sure. Eventually I would just put all the tracks with this cover in like a playlist or like a makeshift EP or something like that, you know what I mean? But again, kind of simple but effective for sure. Um, Overall theme, I definitely feel like this is a very big showcase of lyricism. Much like the last track was, I don't think that Carmel goes in with like a super clear intention of like what they're gonna write a song about. But sometimes other songs can be more about one thing than it is the other, or sometimes songs just turn out that way. But this one was definitely more of a lyrical showcase, and really was something for you to kind of like absorb how skilled of an artist Carmel is when it comes to truly rapping and writing. You know what I mean? So well done, my friend. Huge shout out to Abad Carmel. Thank you so much for the submission, my friend. Much, much love. Make sure you follow them on SoundCloud. Literally 6 follows away from 60. And of course, make sure you follow them on Twitter and YVP on Twitter as well. They're approaching 1.3 on Twitter. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 220 sub-roonies on the main channel, my friends. Make sure you go show the channel and these artists some love. And like I said, subscribe if you haven't already, man. We're approaching 220 sub-roonies. We upload 2 times a week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, underground tips and tricks, exclusive segments, whole lot of good stuff available over there on the main channel, man. So go show these artists on the main channel some love. And with that said, my friends, that's about it for episode 141 submissions. Let's say our goodbyes. Let's talk a little bit about what's coming from Music Mondays this week. And let's give a big, big thank you to everybody that submitted and came through tonight. So, huge shout out to everybody that submitted tonight. Huge shout out to all of our Patreons, Ryuki, TDG, King Mark, Blank Thought, Cole Gerard, and everybody else that has been a Patreon as well. Huge shout out to everybody that submitted tonight. Huge shout out to Jordan Andrew, TDG, Mag 2 Times, Braden, Filter, Thomas Marcus, Broken Nomad, Norm, Bloodcat, Lil Hendrix, Offspring, and Bad Carmel. Thank you guys so much for your submissions. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And again, huge shout out to everybody that came through and showed love to the motherfucking stream. Huge shout out to Jaded, Offspring, and King Mark, and anybody else that lurked and chilled. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are amazing. So I pretty much went through a whole big weekly recap at the start of the show. So make sure you guys go check that out if you want a super preview of what's coming on Music Mondays this week. But you guys know the drill. Expect brand new YouTube uploads, a couple of brand new articles this week, a couple of major announcements, along with a couple of other promos and things like that. But the main thing is make sure you're following us on all socials at All Music Mondays to stay tuned with everything that we have going on, all of our weekly articles, all of our weekly drops, our new YouTube stuff, our new staff members, everything. Go show us some love on your favorite social, man. And per usual, if you're watching this on YouTube, submissions open. Actually, submissions are already open if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're watching this on motherfucking Twitch, submissions open tomorrow. So if you're interested in getting your tracks played, or you'd like to submit for pretty much anything here on the show, submissions open tomorrow. So with that said, make sure you follow us at All Music Mondays. And with that said, my friends, make sure you follow us at anchor.fm/All Music Mondays to stream us on all audio platforms. Literally. Follow us on YouTube. We're 10 subs away from 220. And of course, make sure you follow me at Som Slays. We're live like 6 days a week here on the channel, man. Speed runs, music stuff, watch parties, all that good stuff. So make sure you follow the channel if you haven't already. But submissions will be open for episode 142 tomorrow. So make sure you keep your eyes peeled on socials. And I'll be live tomorrow as well, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Follow, subscribe below, everything linked below, all the socials, all the good stuff's linked down below. All the Music Monday stuff, follow Music Mondays, follow IHS, follow everything, man. Go show some love, and huge shout out to everybody that makes this possible. You guys are amazing. I love you guys. Take care, and we'll see you next week.